After 2 weeks of not filming any videos for my channel, especially Top 5 Wednesday, which was so hard, there's only one phrase I can think of by one of my favorite characters when he says, "Boom dia!" Hello friends, happy Wednesday, so very excited. When I was driving this morning, I was thinking about Hinata Shoyo from Haikyuu, and when he says Bom dia, when he goes on film, I won't go more into that, or on camera I should say, and I was like, that pose, that excitement is everything that I am feeling this morning. I'm so excited to be back. Thank you guys so much for all your patience. And again, I'm so very sorry that I did not have any new Top 5 Wednesday videos the past 2 weeks, but hopefully the sickness is gone. I hope. I feel like I do sound still a little bit congested, and I'm like, I think that's just because of the change of seasons, but that's okay. Again, I'm so excited to be here. But in case if you're not familiar with Top 5 Wednesday, in a nutshell, basically each week, or try to do every week, definitely an exception here recently, but each week I answer a prompt using 5 books, but in this case I do manga to reflect the said prompt. And today's prompt is 5-star predictions. We're sharing titles that are on our TBR that either we're planning to read or looking forward to reading, so it could be like a title that's kind of going to be coming out, and then sharing, do we feel why this would be a 5-star prediction. I was gonna do series. Originally that was gonna be my go-to because I was thinking about series that I said I wanted to read this year that I talked about in the, I think it was like the first Top 5 Wednesday of the year. I was like, I don't know. It's like, I've already done that. And then I was like, well, I could talk about the releases or talk about titles that are releasing, because I did my monthly reel or YouTube short, featuring titles that are releasing in April. But I was like, well, typically for any person when they pre-order something or they order something, they're hopefully going to think I'm really going to like this, and setting out with the intention, maybe, hopefully, at least for me, that it will be a 5-star read. So I was like, well, I don't know about that. And plus I did realize that there were a lot of manhwa that I'm very excited about and looking forward to releasing next month. And I'm like, well, it's supposed to be manga. I don't want to just feature manhwa titles because I'm like, I don't have 5, but half of them would be manhwa. So anyway, I was going through my bookcase and I was like, what are some individual volumes that I have not read yet that I do feel will be 5-star reads? And I had 5. I was very excited because I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do if I don't have 5. So these are in no specific order because I'm really excited to read all of these, but we're gonna go ahead, start off with number 1, and that is I Swear I Won't Bother You Again, Volume 3. I loved Volume 1, I loved Volume 2, Volume 3 is here, but I have not read it yet. And part of that reason that I have not read it yet is because the wait between Volume 1 and Volume 2, I think, was a year or more. And so I was really nervous to try and read Volume 3 so early after it released, even though that's exactly what I wanted to do. I do know that Volume 4 of the manga is already up for pre-order, and I already have that on pre-order or in my cart to want to pre-order at some point. I'm very, very excited. I hope that the time between volumes is so much shorter. This series has been so very good. I don't think it's a villainous isekai of sorts, like it is a isekai, but rather than Violetta dying and then coming back to life like in another world, time has actually gone back. Maybe this isn't an isekai. Maybe that's where I was unsure if it was counted as an isekai, because there's no reincarnation. She's not going to another world. She actually goes back in time, and so she's able to make different choices. And this guy right here is my favorite in this series. I'm really, really hoping that the ship sails. There were some moments in Volume 2 that had me squealing. I need the prince to stay away. This is not the prince. He's not on the back. I just need the prince to stay away from Violetta because I don't know. He had his chance. His chance is gone. Now we have this guy, and I really, really hope that it sails. This is definitely a manga I feel will be a very strong 5 stars because each volume, volumes 1 and 2, have been a very strong 5 stars. I've even deeply considered picking up the light novel, or light novels. I know, I don't remember, I think it was on my collection video that I filmed. I think somebody had mentioned, it was either for this series or I'm the Villainess, so I'm Taming the Final Boss, that they strongly encouraged me to check out the light novels. So I did add volume 1 of the light novel to my my wish list on Amazon, I believe, because I'm like, I really love the manga that I would be interested checking out the light novel, which is always a very good sign for me. Coming in for number 2, this was one of my recent pickups because I discovered it was a thing and I was like, I need this. This is more for collecting probably than reading, but I do want to read it, and that is Hals Moving Castle, the manga. Yes, there is a manga. It's just the, as we'll say, the pictures, like screenshots, if you want to say that, from the film, and it is so well done. I've only skim read through the first volume. I mean, it's exactly like the film. Nothing is different. There's no bonus content, I don't think. Yeah, there's no bonus content or anything like that. But I was like, I want it. I was like, I want to be able to read the movie in story form as well because I love the film. I watched it in January for the very first time when I was sick with COVID, and I went and rewatched it again, and then I went and bought it and rewatched it again. I really, really love this story and this film. So I've just felt like this was an easy purchase, but I feel bad saying that. But it was just something I knew that I wanted to have. I'm just waiting for volume 4 to come back in stock. I ordered it on Right Stuff. I'm trying to think if it's like just out of stock on there or if it's out of stock like on Barnes & Nobles. I'm not 100% sure, but it has been really exciting to just see, again, the pictures from the movie or scenes from the movie in the manga. Like, it's just really beautiful. And I told my husband, I was like, I feel my chances of rewatching this are probably a little bit lower because I just don't take as much time to watch movies or watch anime like I used to. And I'm like, well, if it's in manga form, which I read manga almost every day, yes, I'm like, this will be something I will come back to time and time again. I have zero doubts. The only thing that was very interesting to me is, you know, like when you have the sound effects in manga, typically it says it in English. This one does not. It just has the Japanese sound effects, but you can go back to, or you can go to the end of the manga and you can look up the page number and then it will tell you what the sound effects are in English, which was really interesting. I have never ever seen this in a manga ever, but I cannot wait to read this. I've had it on my desk for weeks and just decided to finally put it on my bookshelf because I'm like, volume 4 is not coming just yet, but I really hope it comes back in stock because I think that's how I found out about the manga is through Twitter. I think the account is like Manga Alerts and Restocks, I think is the name of it. He had shared about the series coming back in stock and I'm like, there's a manga? I was like, it's a need. It's a need. So this is why I'm featuring it today because yes, I need to read it. I definitely want to do a video review at some point when volume 4 comes in, even though I'm like, I know it's just like the movie, but still, like, it needs to be featured because it's so, so good. For number 3, I'm going to say My Happy Marriage volume 2 of the manga. I still have not read this. I loved volume 1. It was so very good. It was a very heart-wrenching and beautiful story, which sounds really weird to use those words at the same time, but there's very beautiful parts and there's very heart-wrenching parts. I know that the anime is coming. I don't remember when the anime is coming out. I still have not seen the trailer because I told myself I will not watch the trailer until I read volume 2, and I still have not read it. So this is definitely one I need to make a priority to actually read. I definitely think it's going to be 5 stars since I love the first volume so much, and I think we're going to have more fantasy elements in this volume and hopefully more romance because it definitely seems slow burn, but it's like this beautiful, very satisfying slow burn, especially as you see the main girl herself heal and overcome a mindset, a very negative mindset that she has because of how people have treated her for so very long. Like, she needs to be loved. She deserves to be loved. She is so valuable, like, not just because of maybe any power she has, which is an element that was woven in with the first, but just because she is a human being who has value and worth. So I really loved that message and seeing her just slowly start to change the way that she views herself. It was very, 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 very good. Again, I need to read the second volume. I have zero doubts it'll be 5 stars, and I sort of forgot that I had it until I was like, yeah, I never read that volume. I was like, I need to go read that. I am sort of tempted now to like go ahead and start reading this week. March isn't over yet. There's still time, and I'm not going to flip through anymore because I feel like I'm seeing spoilers. But yes, I want to read this one and definitely think it'll be 5 stars. For number 4, I don't even remember what video it was. I think it was the collection video that I talked about it, but Play It Cool Guys Volume 4. Yes, I know this will be 5 stars. I have zero doubts. I love and adore this series so much. I've read all the volumes at least twice, the first one at least 3 or 4 times. I really, really love this series. I have not finished the anime because I did see that the anime is actually going into some of the content in this or all of it, and I'm like, I'm not there yet. I have to catch up with this before I can catch up with the anime. But I've been thinking about, I'm like, why have I not read this yet? I actually even reread volume 3 so I could start and read volume 4. I think the thing is because there's no release date for volume 5, and I'm like, sort of like how it was with I Swear I Won't Bother You Again, where I'm like, if I don't read it just yet, then I don't have to get sad when I've caught up and I don't have anything to look forward to make sure that I'll see more of these characters. I think that is where I'm at with this volume. I don't 100% know, but I feel like that's the closest I can think of why I still have not read this, especially since last year. This was one of my most anticipated reads. Like, Laura, come on, you could do this. So I was actually going to try and read this before this video, but I'm going to talk about at the end of what I plan to read first, but I'm hoping maybe this one as well that I'll try and read this week because it would be so satisfying to say that I have finally read it. I know I'm going to love it. This is like my happy read, my happy manga. It's perfect. It's perfection. I adore these guys so much. Another definite easy 5-star reads. I would be extremely surprised if I gave this volume anything less than 5 stars because I just don't ever foresee any volume in this series getting less than that unless maybe it's the final volume and I'm just so heartbroken that's the final volume and we get nothing else, even though I know that the ending would probably be perfect as well. For number 5, I am so excited to feature this one, and that is the Savior's Book Cafe story in Another World. I read volume 1 and then I have been collecting the series as it's come out. I told myself I would not read any more volumes until I had the whole thing. I have had volume 5 on pre-order for a while now. I think it comes out not next month, it comes out in May, I believe, and I'm ready. I'm so ready. I loved volume 1. It is so good, just so amazing. This was one of those series that I sort of passed on when I went shopping with Meg from I Am Meg's last year, which I do have a video review here. We went manga shopping for my birthday. She was like, hey, go check this out. Just go stand wherever or sit wherever and just read some of this because I really think you would like it. I did like it, but I was like, well, I'm not gonna get it today. Biggest mistake I made because then it was like out of stock for months. Everywhere. Oh my goodness, everywhere. And I was just like, I need it. So I ended up actually reading it digitally through 7Cs when they do those monthly coupons when you fill out the monthly surveys. I was so hooked. It is such a beautiful, fun story. I love our heroine. The romance is so shippable, ship-worthy, so great. And I'm like, I need more, but I know I will be so upset if I start reading now when I don't have volume 5 and can just binge read the whole thing. Definitely gonna have a video review. I strongly feel that this series is going to be a full 5 stars for me. I know some people said that, I don't know if it was volume 2 or 3, that they felt didn't have I was about to say short, but I'm like, that volume's actually thicker than the rest. But I guess maybe some people felt that it was a little bit rushed. Still thinking, even if that is the case, and I also feel that way when I read it, I do feel like it's still going to be a strong 5 stars. And if not, maybe not that individual volume, I feel like as a series as a whole that it will be a 5 stars because this series is so good. Well, I mean, like I said, I've only read the first volume, but it is amazing. It is such a wonderful isekai that I would highly, highly recommend. For my honorable mention, I actually struggled with this one because I do feel like the ones I have featured for my top 5 are ones that I'm really, really excited for and feel like fit the prompt perfectly. But for the honorable mention, I was struggling with 2 of them, and I am going to go with this one because the anime I think airs in 2 weeks or next week, and that is A Galaxy Next Door. When my husband was super into manga, he was reading so much of it, he was like, hey, can you go find me some more rom-coms or just some really sweet romances where the couple gets together early on, or at least the feelings are there very early on. And I was like, okay, I've heard great things about Galaxy Next Door. We checked out volume 1 from my library. We both, I only skim read it, but me and my husband both loved it. We both promptly were like, let's go ahead, get the series. Definitely feel like from what I've read, this is an easy 5-star series for me because I loved it. I think there's a great great premise there of having this alien princess of sorts that meets this manga artist. I think, yeah, princess meets manga artist, and these two come together, and how the romance is unfolding is so wholesome and so beautiful, and just, it is super, super cute. Like, it's a very, very sweet read from what I've read so far. So definitely feel like this is going to be an easy 5-star prediction. And those are all of my picks for this week. It's so lovely to just talk about these, except for the Bookstore Cafe, Savior's Book Cafe. I do plan and Hals Moving Castle. I think I am going to go ahead and make a plan to try and read all of the others before this month ends, because reasons I hope to go into soon of why I'm like, I am determined to read the manga that I have, because there's a manga series that I really want to get, but I have to read what I have, or read what I own first. Anyway, ramble aside, again, I hope you enjoyed that video. I would love to know your picks. What are some manga titles that you feel that when you actually read it, or going to start reading it, that it will be a 5-star read? I would love to hear your predictions. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. And thank you so much for watching. Bye!